What is the state of America's health?
What is the state of Americans' health? Oh my. I wish I could say it was robust and glowing. But the truth is, every 30 seconds in this country, someone grabs their chest and falls over with a heart attack and dies. We have rampant vascular disease, blood vessel disease from atherosclerosis, largely from our diet. We have a spreading obesity epidemic, I guess, kind of pun intended. And autoimmune diseases are increasing. Gastrointestinal diseases like acid reflux and colitis are increasing. We are not a healthy country, and it's largely due because we're so rich and we feel we're Americans, we can eat anything we want. Well, we can, but your arteries got something to say about that. Your colon's got something to say about that. And so we're suffering these diseases, but rather than look at what we're eating, we want that pill, we want that vaccine, we want something, just make it go away, doctors, so I can keep eating my buffalo wings and my spare ribs and my burgers. And as a result, we're getting more obese and more clogged up, and we're not a healthy society because we don't want to face the truth that what we're eating really does matter, and it's not a healthy diet that we're on. So state of health compared to many countries around the world, especially Scandinavian countries where people are starting to make this connection, we've got a lot of catching up to do.
Gary Taubes reports several benefits from the keto diet. What's your response to that?
Well, this is a dietary philosophy that says we want to be in a state of ketosis. And what that means is when the body shifts away from what most people believe is our standard diet, we are carbohydrate eating creatures, as the gorillas and bonobos graze in their forests. They're eating carbohydrates, they're eating leaves and fruits. And you can see from the magnificent muscles on a gorilla's body, it certainly seems to be adequate. Ask any giraffe or rhinoceros or buffalo, you get all the proteins and vitamins and minerals you need from a plant-based high carbohydrate diet in its whole form. But the folks in the keto camp say, no, we should shift to a fat-based diet. Fats are very difficult to come by out in the natural world, by the way. And when we force our bodies to burn fats, then these acidic molecules called ketones are released into the bloodstream. They suppress appetite, and people lose weight. And as they lose weight, especially if they started out obese and diabetic and hypertensive, like so many Americans do, a few weeks in ketosis, boy, you're going to notice a weight loss. And that's going to improve your diabetes control. You may notice a drop in cholesterol levels. And people say, hey, keto, look at all the wonderful changes it does. Need less insulin, all of that. So there's a real strong push for keto diets. But, and people like to taste the steak in their mouth. So, oh boy, me, I can eat all the meat I want. Yes, absolutely, it's good for you. Yes, but as I said earlier, your arteries got something to say about that. And the studies that people use to support this, these are short-term studies. The longest I've seen is 2 years, and that one's just recently come out. But when you look at what really happens to these people long-term, there's many studies already showing that, first of all, these ketogenic diets, which are mostly meats and oils and some vegetables, that's a great way to give yourself vitamin deficiencies and mineral deficiencies because you're really cutting down the kind of plants that you're eating. All the fruits go, a lot of the yellow vegetables, starchy vegetables go. The lack of healthy fiber is going to change the bacteria in your gut, and you're going to start spawning microbes down in your intestinal tract that produce all sorts of molecules that damage the body, trimethylamine, etc. The lack of fiber is a low fiber diet, so people wind up constipated, and that increases the risk of colon disease, diverticuli, etc. And what are we doing to the arteries? You can say, oh, my cholesterol's down, yay. But meanwhile, the arteries are very complex muscular tubes that dilate when you need more blood to the muscles and constrict when you've got to shunt blood other places. Well, a high-fat diet paralyzes, stuns the endothelial cells that line the arteries, and you lose that important nitric oxide production that allows for the vasodilation. They're not looking at that. When people eat simple sugars like the fructose and cola drinks, et cetera, these nasty molecules called advanced glycation end products get formed that damage our tissues. Well, it turns out, as the keto folks saying, aha, see, we're not eating any of those simple sugars, which is a good idea. Yay, keto, I bet they're right. But it's turning out, whoever thought that some of the ketones, namely acetone, can turn into a molecule called methylglyoxal that creates these same advanced glycation end products, and that ages our tissues and it damages our proteins. This is a high protein diet. You're eating meat, and you flood the body with, especially the liver, with all these amino acids from the protein. The liver responds, and it responds by putting out a gush of this very powerful hormone called insulin-like growth factor 1, IGF-1. And it drives cancer growth throughout the body. It drives aging genes to turn on. And just high protein diets not only age us, and clearly when you look at the aging genes like TORC1, they respond to high protein diets. And when you follow this along to see who's still alive eating high protein diets, you find out not many folks. When you look at just the population studies, the Eskimos and the Bushmen in Kenya, well, they die at age 40 from vascular diseases. They're not long-lived people. And there's no question that the studies, if you look up animal-based diet and all-cause mortality, there's no question the more animal flesh you eat, the shorter your lifespan. So I tell the folks who are enamored by the keto diets, don't be seduced by these early changes. Most of the weight loss is water out of your tissues. It's not friendly to your muscles. The muscles really diminish down, and folks report trouble going out for runs and doing workouts at gyms on these ketogenic diets. It is not helpful for good athletic performance. I said, no matter, your cholesterol may come down, your diabetes may get a bit easier to manage, but at what cost? What are you really doing to your body? We are not carnivorous apes. We didn't go, from mammoth to dead zebra on the plains and just, eat meat. Well, we were clearly carbohydrate eating creatures. Most of the calories brought into the ancient Paleolithic camps were gathered by the women who spent all day digging up these starchy roots and tubers. That's where most of the calories came from in the ancient Paleolithic camps. And we know that by examining the fossilized fecal droppings from these folks. They were massive stool masses. You got to eat a lot of fiber, a lot of plant fiber to do that. And so this idea of the mighty hunter living on mastodon meat is a myth. We were starchivores then, we're starchivores now. And again, these early changes for weight loss and better diabetes control, they come at way too great a cost. And I urge people, don't be seduced. We are plant-eating hominids. We have fingers on our hands, not claws. We got long intestines for digesting fiber. We've got saliva with starch digesting enzymes. Eat a whole plant food diet and you're going to wind up lean and healthy without a lot of the problems that the keto folks are going to run into, I fear.